Hello, Leo Rising, and Leo Moon people, and a happy Yule Makris Mahana Kwanzaa to you. This is your weekly astrological and card forecast for the week starting December 19th, 2016. And a quick reminder for you guys to all come back on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because I am going to be doing the 2017 Horoscope live in a live stream here on YouTube on this channel, and it's going to go from 4 p.m. Pacific time for at least an hour, but you know me, it will probably end up going on for an hour and a half, so it's going to be a good time, and I will be answering questions and comments, and so if you'd like to be able to do that, you do have to have a YouTube account, but that only takes a couple of minutes. You can just make that, subscribe, and we'll have a good time. Also, the January schedule for the classes I'm doing is already up. And a lot of people have been asking about tarot classes, and astrology webinars, and I've got 5 events going on in January that if you want to sign up for them, you most certainly should. And you can do that at my website, integrativemysticism.com. And don't forget to check out my vlog channel, ScarletMoonMagic, all one word, because I'm actually doing a special series on spiritual awakening all this month of December, and so it's going to be sort of a big churn out. I'm wanting to churn out as many videos as possible before the end of the year, and of course I'll probably keep going after that anyway. So, that being said, all those announcements, let's get started with your astrology for this week, Leo. So, in the beginning of the week, we've got Mercury turning retrograde in your 6th house of health, reputation, your daily work, your errands, and all of that good stuff. And it's actually going to be there for quite some time. And I talk about it in the monthly horoscopes. And one of the things that makes this week unique, though, is that Mercury is going to be retrograding and very loosely conjuncting Pluto in that same area. Now, usually when Mercury retrograde and Pluto come together, we're talking about actually letting go of something that is a big mistake that was actually, decided by a position of authority in our life. And this could be a situation going on at work, or this could be maybe even talking with a physician about a treatment that has not gone right, or it's not working, or maybe a personal trainer and this thing is not working out. Because when Mercury retrograde and Pluto come together, again, we're talking about correcting a mistake that needs to be corrected. And so it's not really a good time ever during a Mercury retrograde to make something super official, or to make, to crystallize it, but certainly not at the beginning of this week either. However, letting something go, letting something not come to be, is a very good idea. And I think that, again, you may be very relieved to have some kind of rule, or some kind of restriction, or some kind of, I guess you could say, there's some kind of new norm that you've not felt compatible with, finally be taken away. It's a bad fit, it's not going to work, and it's better to see it go. Later on in the week, we've got Saturn forming a gorgeous connection from your 5th house of love to your 9th house of travel, and your 9th house of multicultural exposure, your worldliness. And we've had a lot of activity going on between these planets, throughout this month. And this is going to bring a little order to chaos. That's the paraphrase that I'm choosing to use for this angle. If there has been any kind of challenge regarding, perhaps a long-distance relationship, the logistics, trying to work those things out, this is going to set up a gorgeous plan. And it's okay to set up this plan, even if it's a Mercury retrograde. Why? Well, because Mercury retrograde's not in either of these houses, and Mercury retrograde doesn't crash the whole chart, it just hits where it hits. And with Saturn connecting to Uranus, if you've been feeling like things are a bit consistent, it's hard to find time to, to even arrange a meeting with a partner, or maybe even do some traveling, go, take some vacations, we've got this all set up for you. This is also great for those of you who are trying to do international business or online business. If it's been hard to get a hold of people, or again, we've been having some technical difficulties, interestingly enough, this is going to mend it. Mercury retrograde be damned. I also like this angle for those of you who are parents, because with Saturn and Uranus connecting between the 9th and the 5th house, this can be great news as far as improvement or opportunities for improvement already being seen in a child's performance in school. So if that's been an issue as well, you're going to be noticing maybe report cards or progress reports and things like that are going to be a lot better following this angle. And it's going to happen more than once over the course of the next few months, so this could also be good news. So what's going on with your cards this week, we may ask, Leo? Well, this week we've got the card of the Dreamer. And this is the card of taking things on a test drive. This is talking about actually being able to see what would it be like if, insert hypothetical situation here. Because the Dreamer card is kind of saying there's a huge accomplishment that you're already kind of getting underway. But with the Dreamer card, we get to see, well, what would happen to my job if I took this route? Or what would happen if we moved here? Or what would happen? You get to actually kind of have a little episode, of what would it be like, or take a trip through the holodeck, in Star Trek terms. What I like about this is that this is an opportunity, again, to see if this is really going to happen, or if this is really going to work. If things turn out great, don't change a thing. But if things don't seem so great, don't throw it in the trash after this week, because again, this is just a test drive. It's not the new norm. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Fool card inverted. This card, I feel, again, is harkening back to what we're talking about with the 6th house Mercury retrograde. Because the Fool card inverted can talk about a lot of false starts this week in terms of work, in terms of what we're trying to get off the ground. We may be trying to get a new job, we may be trying to submit a new proposal. But with the Fool card inverted talking about false starts, we may not necessarily get that all the way through this week. I would highly recommend with the Fool card inverted to actually try and go around what you might think is conventional. If you're used to doing everything through a recruiter, please, go around the recruiter. If you're used to doing everything through, through any kind of regular order of operations, just for this week, try and give this a shot. Because the Fool card inverted, it's kind of like you're sending things in the mail, but they're not getting out of your own local post office. And so where else, how is this going to happen? What I'm also sensing with the Fool card inverted is that there may be a challenge with a customer, a client, or anyone that you work with on the regular who's not adjusting to a change that you have implemented. But this is not something that you have to necessarily take down. We may just have to change the boundaries of this relationship. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life, we do have a 5 of Wands inverted. And this card is kind of interesting, because with the 5 of Wands inverted, this is talking about an opportunity for you and a friend, or you and a relative, to sort of end a rivalry, or maybe even a grudge, or something along those lines. Not necessarily a fight, but just, we have the softening of a tense relationship. Sometimes with this card we can see that a relative that we thought never liked us at all actually had the most in common with us. We start to bond with that crazy aunt who never liked talking to anyone and seemed kind of mean, and all of a sudden she's really cool. Or with the 5 of Wands inverted, you may even find that you are bonding a lot better with your partner's friends, even though you weren't sure how you were going to connect with them, because again, we're sort of bridging gaps. We're ending the tension in our relationship to that person or to that group. And I want you to make sure that you can seize the moment on that. Don't be put off or, or too intimidated to get close, because once we make that good rapport, again, we're keeping it for life. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Lovers card inverted. And this card is basically saying, Leo, you've got to make sure that this week you are not putting yourself in a position to, make promises you can't keep. Alright, this is not a time to be a people pleaser. This is not a time to be trying to set yourself up for obligations you cannot meet. Because the Lovers card inverted talks about a challenge where there is no win-win situation. And, you have to admit when it's not a win-win situation. You've got to be honest with yourself. And so again, making sure that you are not doing lip service or trying to please everybody, or put yourself in a, writing checks you can't cash, metaphorically speaking. This is the challenge you've got to go through. And I think a lot of you Leos got to deal with that sometimes, because I know a lot of Leo people out there who are really stifled by wanting everyone to like them, and, you know, sometimes people have to learn to like you for you, not how good you are at pleasing them. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, do you have the Hermit card inverted? Single Leos could be caught a little bit off guard this week when somebody shows up out of the woodwork, and they may have been a little bit introverted, they may have been keeping their feelings to themselves, but all of a sudden they are coming around and they want to let you know, hey, I like you. This might not necessarily even be somebody you assumed would have a crush on you. Sometimes the Hermit card inverted is very nonchalant. You know, and sometimes the Hermit card inverted can have a tendency to show up a little bit late, but I do think that with the Hermit card inverted, this could actually be a really nice way to connect, or, you know, to even get a possible love affair off the ground if that's what you want to do. For those of you who are currently coupled, the Hermit card inverted shows a wonderful time for you to actually bond with, again, your partner's friends, or maybe your partner with your friends. We are merging a lot of social groups this week, and we are also taking a wonderful opportunity to kind of bring ourselves out of the shadows, or our partner out of the shadows, if, you know, it's time for somebody to kind of stand on their own 2 feet in front of, you know, the others kind of grouping, you know, the others group. Time to introduce everyone, time to mingle, time to mix. And believe me, everyone will be making a good impression. So that is your forecast, Leo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you would like to get a session with me, or sign up for any of the classes that are coming up in January, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.